It's been quite significant. Remember, we've been regulated and we've been using these licenses for the last 4 years or so under the previous administration. And even there, with Gary Gensler and that sort of history of enforcement actions, we were being very careful and very cautious and also very responsible about how we basically apply those licenses and the services that we were providing. Obviously, Trump has made some really positive comments. We have to see these become rule of law. There are various task forces that have been asked to go out and come up with the proposed legislations. We're monitoring all of these things. It certainly is an extremely positive shift. I can tell you that, years ago, I would speak to, just as recent as last year, I would speak to European entities that would say, just because we're US based, they would rather not work with us, which is quite ironic. And now all of this is changing. So when I was in London a couple of weeks ago, and all of that just faded away. Like, it's kind of like everyone understands this is a time for a very pro-crypto era. And so it's great. So after Europe put in their very detailed regulatory framework, we can now expect the same from the US. That's really significant. So we're pretty excited about that. So the language from the White House is very clear. It is language that says we were falling behind due to these restrictive interpretations of existing securities regulations and trying to apply those to the crypto space, which we always said was not really feasible. So the language couldn't be clearer. We can expect some really positive. Now, what the details are, obviously, we'll have to wait and see. We're very interested in the concept of the special purpose broker-dealer, the ability as a broker-dealer to custody assets on behalf of clients. This is something we're looking at. We're also looking at the market-making definitions that exist out there. So there's a couple of things that could really unlock a lot of potential. And it does sound like they will focus a lot more on stablecoin legislations for the start. But generally, it's an extremely positive shift in how people perceive the USA, in how we look at servicing, clients or structuring our products going forward. It's just we have to wait a little bit longer. So all of this became very clear last year when BlackRock, Franklin Templeton, you name it, all of these asset managers started showing that they have been working on this for a while. So it's not like they all woke up last year and started. It's the fact is they've been hiring the right people, building these tokenization strategies, waiting for the right time. And, last year was where this started to emerge. And the winners in RWA last year was clearly the money market funds, tokenizing these treasury assets. This year, obviously, no one talks about stable coins in the context of real world assets, but it's the ultimate real world asset. So stable coins are going to continue to be really significant in terms of crypto adoption, the rails on which financial markets are going to operate. I think we'll see a lot more stablecoin projects this year. I know of a few that have been working since last year already, but I think there'll be more. I also think that tokenized private credit markets are going to be one of the next big themes when it comes to institutional crypto adoption or blockchain in capital markets. We are bringing to market a tokenized collateralized loan obligation product, which will have secondary trading capabilities. That's going to be breakthrough. The announcements will be made in a couple of weeks. When you look at the institutional space, I see more and more of these trillion-dollar markets will start to do, private credit markets will start to get their own pilot projects and things like that. And then on the retail side, when you look at RWA, I think public equities that are available to the public in the Western world but not really available to the public in emerging economies. So this is another real world asset that we've been working on since last year with the listing of tokenized equities like Nvidia, Tesla, Microsoft, Google, and the fact that we can now offer these through our licensing framework. Obviously, working with partners in these emerging economies like broker dealers and other securities exchanges to make the average guy in countries like the Philippines or in Nigeria or in Argentina have the ability to buy Tesla shares for as little as $10 a month, fractionalized shares. So this is really meaningful. So we're basically looking at retail use cases as well as institutional use cases. It really is accessibility, particularly from a retail user's point of view. From the institutional point of view, it's cost savings, right? It's disintermediation, and opportunities, right? Opportunities to leapfrog the competition, to be the first to offer a suite of tokenized, investment offerings and things like that. So for now, we have teams and people that are dedicated to both the retail side as well as the institutional side. And, we'll see what gains the most traction in the shortest amount of time. And then, probably put more efforts on those. Absolutely. It's something that, hit the headlines a few days ago and something we've been really excited about. It's been over a year in the making. As you can imagine, these M&A events can be pretty complex. INX is publicly listed in Canada. And so Republic taking the company private again, you can imagine. So it took a while, but the bottom line never changed, which is that the ecosystem that is emerging now between Republic and INX is really powerful. INX alone was an end-to-end service provider, from raising capital to creating a token, distributing that token, listing the token for trading on our ATS, and even distributing dividends from those issuers to their investors. That was already quite an impressive array of services. And now we're joining Republic with their big reg crowdfunding history, not just in the USA, but also in Europe, where they recently acquired a European entity and the European licenses, and a bunch of other products that Republic have. So we're really creating a strong ecosystem where we can do full end-to-end lifecycle management, maybe even bespoke advisory, capital raising services. So we couldn't be more excited about what this means. And we already have our existing issuers who can't wait to start, kind of benefiting from that ecosystem. So, the announcement just went out. Obviously, it's going to take a few months for the regulatory approvals, for the transfer of the ownership of the broker-dealer license. But we are going to start the post-merger integration work and just increase the collaborations that already existed and just take it to a whole new level.